Good morning and welcome to another First Take. Max Kellerman, how we doing?
Molly, how are you?
I'm fantastic. And Stephen A. joining us from the West Coast. How we doing, my friend?
What's going on, y'all? How you doing?
What's going on, Stephen A? You ready to do this?
I can't believe how ready I am to do this, considering the fact that I'm operating on only 2 hours sleep. But I guess I'm excited. So let's go.
We can't tell. But yes, a lot to discuss coming up on the show. Donald Trump's comments on locker room talk is getting buzz around the sports world. Don't miss our discussion on locker room culture and that a little bit later in the show. But we're starting with Monday Night Football. Bucs rookie kicker Roberto Aguayo redeemed himself after missing 2 field goals early in last night's game, kicking a game winner as time expired as the Bucs defeated the Cam Newton-less Panthers 17-14. Newton was sidelined after suffering a concussion in Week 4. So now a year removed from a Super Bowl appearance, and the Panthers are 1-4, their worst start since 2012, putting them last in the NFC South. The Panthers faced the division foe Saints in the Superdome on Sunday. Max, want to start with you.
Yep.
Can Cam save this season for Carolina?
No, I don't think he can. The problem is, if I were to tell you to begin with that you're in an 11-game season, Stephen A., and you're going to spot the Falcons the way they've looked 3 games in an 11-game season. Go ahead. They get a 3-game lead. You got 11 games to play. That's unlikely you're going to overtake them. So you're really looking at a wild card, I think. I think the Packers are going to be right there. And as it turns out, the NFC East isn't as bad as we thought. And even if it is, and this is an illusion, you got a 4-1 team, you got a 3-1 team. The records are just going to be hard to overcome. Furthermore, Cam missed this week because of a concussion protocol. That's not something that just goes away. That's something that's going to be there all season. And the likelihood of another incident, knock wood it doesn't happen, but the likelihood of another incident, not only playing behind that line, which went from good to bad in a hurry, but also the fact that he plays out of the pocket so much because they rely on him as their de facto running back, and he gets hit so much more than any other quarterback in football by miles. He gets hit more than Andrew Luck, more than Russell Wilson, more than any other quarterback who's mobile and also plays out of the pocket, more than any other quarterback who does that with a bad offensive line. I think that adds up to potential trouble going forward, not to mention the fact that the worry that they could be suffering from an NFC championship hangover. I mean, you'd hope the fact that they didn't win the Super Bowl would have motivated them, but there was always the chance that having had so much success, 2 losses, including the Super Bowl loss, only 2 losses on the season, maybe there'd be a hangover. And in fact, that's what you have seen so far, I think. This is a very physically big team who sometimes give me the impression, Benjamin on his routes, Cam, whether he's holding the ball, waiting a little too long, or running outside the pocket, they give me the impression that they think that they can just go out there and kind of impose their physical selves on their opponents. That's not the way it works. I don't see how Cam can right this ship in time to have a good enough record to make these playoffs.
Max Kellerman, I'm going to disagree with you, but I'm going to openly confess and admit, which is something I don't normally do, that I have a significant degree of trepidation as to whether or not I'm right in saying this. I usually believe unequivocally that I'm absolutely right. That usually proves to be true because we all know I'm usually beating you up during debates. But on this particular day, I must confess to you that I do have concerns that my position may not be but so strong in this. Panthers defense was poor last night. It was poor against the run. Coming into the game, it was poor against the pass. The decision to let Josh Norman go may come down as one of the all-time blunders because clearly their secondary simply is not the same. The front 7 has to overcompensate. As a result, their defense is out of whack. Teams know it. And on a week-to-week basis, whether it's the passing game or the running game, somebody always finds themselves taking advantage of the Carolina Panthers defense. And the offense ain't that much greater. Without Jonathan Stewart, they can't seem to run the ball effectively. Otis Payne, got 85 yards rushing. And everybody wants to act like this, of course, for celebration. These guys are simply not in sync. There were 4 turnovers. 3 was by a backup quarterback and Derek Anderson. That's why he's a backup, because we all know he's had that in him, because he had that in him in his career long before Cam Newton ever arrived. And, of course, Cam Newton wasn't playing last night because he's a bit concussed. So we take all of those things into consideration, and it's clear that there's a lot of situations that you could look at the Carolina Panthers and say, you know what, they're in a world of trouble. But what I would say to you is this. They still have New Orleans on their schedule twice. They still got another date against Atlanta at least one time. along with Tampa. And I look at the Carolina Panthers, and I say to myself, as tough as their schedule may be, having to go against the NFC West as well, having, I think San Diego on their schedule as well, along with a couple of other teams in the AFC West. I just look at it from the standpoint that desperate times call for desperate measures. And if Cam Newton is that first-tier quarterback that you say he is, Max Kellerman, remember, I'm the one that said he's second-tier. You said he's first-tier.
You're also the one who said they were going to win the Super Bowl. You also said Carolina going to win the Super Bowl.
Hold on, wait a minute. You don't get to bring that up on me right now because, again,
I'll be the guy who says Cam Newton's tier 1. You'll be the guy who says the Panthers are going to win the Super Bowl. How's that?
That's right.
Okay,
that's
good.
right. But I'm saying to you that before you so rudely interrupted me, I am conceding and confessing to you. I know what my pick was. I am struggling with it. It is hurting me right now. I got it. But I got to hold on to what I hold on to. And that is before the season began, I sat up there and we had a big argument as to whether or not Cam Newton was first tier or second tier. My specific example to you, Max, was this. I need to see more. I know what he did. I know what he's capable of doing, but first-tier dudes are guys who do it over and over and over again, and that's what I needed to see. Cam was out last night. When he gets back, we'll see. But the reason I'm holding out hope is because these boys with Kuechly, with Thomas and the crew, I think that combined with Cam Newton, it's one of those situations where you're desperate right now. Does it look bleak? Hell yes, it looks bleak. But I'm holding out hope for dear life that the Carolina Panthers will get it together. You don't even have to win the NFC South, the NFC South. You can get a wild card spot. The objective is to get in. And as long as they get in, they will have salvaged their season, and I'm not ready to rule out that they're not going to get a wild card spot as of yet.
I mean, I think Cam is actually the least of their problems when he's on the field, even if he's holding the ball too long, even if he's not sliding when he should. He's the least of their problems. Not blocking from him is a problem.
But he's a big solution. He's a big solution.
Agreed. He's not having a running game is a problem for him. The fact that the defense can't get any pressure bringing 4, which is a big change from last year. I mean, Josh Norman aside, what happened to the pressure that the front 4 can bring? That's a problem. Look at the way Jameis took Tampa down the field in the fourth quarter. Tampa Bay right down the field in the fourth quarter. When they needed it most, it was like a hot knife through warm butter. I mean, right down the field to put them in a position to win this game.
30 times, though. He rushed the ball 30 times, and Tampa Bay, despite knowing that Carolina's secondary was suspect, still ran the ball 37 times and only threw it 30. Everybody was saying coming into the game, everybody should throw the football more because you know that guys are going to get rid of the football quicker. And more importantly, when your secondary is suspect, I mean, you replace Josh Norman, one of the guys you replace him with, you already cut. He's not even on a roster anymore. And then when you take that into consideration and the fact that teams don't have to worry about the secondary the way they used to, they can get rid of the ball quicker, which is why you're not getting the pressure that you alluded to from the front 7.
You mentioned, by the way, the schedule, and they have no kind of killer schedule. I agree with that. And at first, when I was thinking about this, I thought, you know what, given that schedule, maybe they could. They're not going to overtake the Falcons, but maybe they can win a wild card. But you start to think about it like Arizona is the same kind of team as Carolina in the sense that people thought they were going to do something this year, and so far they've come short. They're just as desperate as Carolina. And so you get Arizona at home, but still, you're playing a desperate team, and every game in the rest of your schedules must win. The Rams are better than people thought they were going to be, and you got to go on the road to play them. Kansas City is Kansas City. Oakland is either they're ready or they're like one step away from being ready, but they have a high-flying offense. You have to go to Seattle. That's a very tough game for anybody, especially this Panthers team right now. So even the schedule, and this is what happens when you're just not that good. You know, if you could think of someone as a Super Bowl contender, you look at this schedule, you go, it's pretty good. You think of them as a team that's struggling, all of a sudden the schedule starts to look a lot harder. You can't afford 4 more losses on the season, and I can see 4 losses here very easily.
Well, I'm saying you could see 4 losses there very easily, but just like we didn't see 15-1 coming, we may not see a comeback coming. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, this is one of those rare moments in your history with First Take where you actually have a very poignant argument that is not penetrable at this particular moment in time.
You're gonna have to...
I'll concede that. It's a rare moment. Enjoy the moment. This is a special moment
Stephen
for you,
A., I know you're going on 2 hours sleep. I know you're going on 2 hours sleep. Did you forget what rare means? Do you know that rare, it means
little
seldom,
hilarious.
it means it doesn't happen a lot. Are you sure you know what that means?
Well, listen, last week, I personally brought a dictionary and thesaurus for when I'm sitting across from you, but at the same time, I don't think I need it for the word rare.
Gotcha.
I think we're fine in that category.
I wasn't
but
sure
I
the
will
way.
say to you, again, today, you got it, because I can't, your argument is strong, and the Carolina Panthers haven't given me much ammunition, but I'm holding out hope that 6 playoff spots. You got the Falcons, you got the Cowboys, you got Green Bay, you got Seattle. I mean, come on, you got Minnesota, of course. That 6th spot is what we're talking about right now. That's how I'm looking at it.
Listen, Stephen A., if it makes you feel any better, I picked the Cardinals to go to the Super Bowl. So what does that say?
Listen, the jury, listen, we ain't done yet. We ain't done yet.
This is why people like the NFL.
If you believe in Cam, what's up?
Yep.
Well, let's go.
Very true.